Time to get to know your Rangers once again, and I am joined by Simon Motew. Simon, thanks for taking time with us.
Thanks for having me.
First question I want to ask you. Here we are at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. Try to put into words for us what it's like when you first take the ice and hear all those fans on a Friday night.
Yeah, I think when I was 16, I didn't really understand. All the vets telling me a home opener is something different. There's not a seat in the house that doesn't have a button in it. So I think going on the ice with like 7,000 plus fans is probably one of the most special things, up to my junior career that I've had.
So Simon, you're from the outskirts of Chicago. When you grew up, who was your favorite player? Who was your favorite team?
Obviously, the Chicago Blackhawks. I was fortunate to be, old enough to understand the dynasty when it was going on, and obviously Captain Jonathan Toews was my favorite player growing up.
I'm going to Chicago next week. Let's assume I'm going to Chicago. What's your best tourist advice for me? Where do I have to go in Chicago?
That's a good question. All right, so number one, Wrigley Field. Historic. Cubs aren't that good, but you don't really go there to watch the Cubs. You go there for the experience. And then Gibson's Italia, probably one of the best steakhouses in Chicago, if not the best. So I think that's got to be number two.
What are the differences, Simon? Now you grew up there. Now you've lived here in Kitchener for a few years. Chicago versus Kitchener. What's the main differences?
A lot less traffic, that's for sure. It doesn't take me, 30 minutes to go 1 mile. So that's definitely a benefit of living in Kitchener. Definitely hockey's different. Obviously we have the Hawks there, but growing up, there isn't as much buzz around, minor hockey there. So I think coming to Kitchener and seeing even there's probably 500 fans for a Kitchener, Waterloo hockey game. So that's probably a big difference.
Hockey's been such a huge part of your life. How do you keep busy away from the rink, away from hockey?
A lot of golf. A lot of guys on the team golf, so we all go out. We try to once, twice a week, especially since it's getting colder. Try and fit it in when we can. Golf, that usually takes up all my time after the rink if I can do it, and then I go home. I love playing cards with my billets. I got a great billet family, Rick and Janice, so it's great to hang out with them and play cards.
Who's the best golfer on the team?
It is Missile and Brew are the two best golfers on the team.
Who's the worst golfer on the team?
Shoot. He's gonna hate me when I say this. Me and Sop play, we're both not great, but we play against each other. I don't want to say beating them almost every time besides the most recent one, but yeah, so I'll probably go Sopper, undercover.
Okay, let's look a bit more into Simon on game day. What's your pump-up song? What music gets you riled up for the game?
Run This Town is really good. I think a lot of people have heard that. I love Lil Wayne, so any song he has kind of gets me pumped up.
What's your game day go-to meal?
It's gonna sound weird. I like white rice and ground bison. I know people are like, that's weird, but I got into it this summer, and ever since then I've just been hooked to it.
Any sort of pre-game superstitions that you have on a game day?
I try not to be so superstitious, like if I have a goal the night before or something like that, but tape your stick. I have the same routine I do. I don't really have a certain timestamp where I do it, but the same routine.
Let's say you're on that bus trip to Erie. Everybody loves that trip out to Erie, and you guys are all going to watch a movie together on the bus. You get to pick the movie, Simon. What are you picking?
If actually the boys have seen this movie, I've put them on. It's called Whiplash, about a drummer. It's probably one of my favorite movies of all time. So every time we have movie night or something, I'll always suggest it, even though I've watched it 6 times, but it never gets old.
Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head, Neiman?
What's your favorite hockey memory, whatever that means to you?
I was actually at the 2015 Stanley Cup game. The Hawks beat Tampa at home, Game 6, so that's got to be my favorite Stanley Cup memory.
All right, last question for you. Finish this sentence for me, Simon. Being a Kitchener Ranger is?
An honor. That's number one. I think anyone who gets drafted here and comes to watch a game knows that when you're on the ice, you're treated like royalty. Comes with pressure, but it's definitely an honor.
Simon Motew.